Shelby, what's the vibe with the team right now going in? It's been 2 years since y'all been able to play in the NCAA postseason. What are y'all talking about?
Well, first of all, we're really excited and we're very grateful that we get to host. And I just think that the vibe is really just to keep it simple. I think it's just to keep it the same as every other game. We can't make it bigger than what it is. It's just another game. It's just another moment to just go out and play LSU softball and play the game that we love. So I think that's just the biggest thing that we're trying to do is just to keep it simple and keep it LSU softball and just not make it bigger than what it is.
What was your reaction when you heard that the stands can be 100% full?
We were excited. We got a little glimpse of it in our last SEC series when we played Auburn and maybe Arkansas. And it was really cool to have 100% capacity and just really have all our fans back and just have that energy. So we're very excited for it, especially now that it's regionals. We're just very excited for it. And we feed off our fans' energy and they feed off of us. So I think it's going to be a really exciting and fun weekend.
Shelby, you're one of a handful of girls who played in the 2019 regional, played, but there are a lot of girls who are going to be doing this for the first time this week. What are you trying to impart on them in terms of just to prepare them mentally and just what it's going to be like because it's something you'll never forget?
I think the biggest thing is kind of what I just said about just keep it simple. I know that my first regional that I played in when I was a freshman, just hitting in it, I think it was really important for me just to keep it simple and just think about it as just another at bat, another game. And I think that same thing going into my sophomore year, I personally let our super at Minnesota get too big for me. And I think that's one reason that we weren't as successful. So I think that's just the biggest thing that the upperclassmen and the people who have been here trying to just talk to our underclassmen about is just to keep it simple and really just to not make it bigger than what it is. And because ultimately it is just another game. And I mean, they still have 4 years ahead of them, 3 years ahead of them. So I think that just really just trying to focus on just keeping it simple, keeping it is just another moment, not making it too big is just the most important thing that we can do for our underclassmen, just to let them just to know that they can have fun and really just to focus on just enjoying the moment and just being where their feet are.
Anything else for Shelby? Okay, thank you, Shelby.
Wow, look at a little. Okay. Oh, Eric Lopez made the call of the day.
It's postseason time.
Oh, okay. And all my other favorites. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to just single out Eric,
I was going to leave.
Jim, you're Mr. Reliable. You guys are reliable. So if you're not on, it hurts my feelings.
Okay, I'll remember that. Okay, Beth. Well, is the rain causing y'all any problems with practice? I know you got the mic and everything, but what are you working through right now?
Yeah, we've been really fortunate earlier in the week. We have such a great grounds crew and staff. We've been on the field every day except today. So we've been super productive, I feel like, this week. So I think they're very prepared. And then today we were able to use football indoor and the mic, and we still got a lot accomplished and stuck right with our pregame routine that we would have normally done outside.
Mm-hmm. What kind of vibe are you getting from the team? Is it what you want to see going into a regional?
I think they're anxious, excited. I think all the things you would normally expect. I do think that they feel prepared. I think they feel like they've worked hard. And I think you can draw some confidence from that. But there's definitely a sense of anxiety. There's a lot of young ones that haven't been here before. So, hopefully we can turn that into excitement and fun and come out on the right end of this.
Is there anything that's a concern? Y'all seem to do a lot of things well, but nothing great. I don't know if you would agree, but just you seem to have all aspects of your game like where you need them to be.
Yeah, maybe we do all three of them great, and you don't notice one stands out more than the other. So yeah. I'm going to stay with that. I think we're pretty good on all sides of the ball.
Coach, considering who's coming to town, do you have to maybe urge your fans to go get those tickets and make sure that there's a lot of purple in the stands for this regional?
I think the fact that you have two schools from the state of Louisiana, that's definitely a real thing, and both schools travel well. So yeah, we'd love to have a lot of purple and gold in the stadium this weekend, but I think it's also a cool moment for the state of Louisiana. Just think about how strong we are in the sport of softball. I think sometimes that's overlooked, but I think we have a really strong regional with 3 strong teams from the state of Louisiana.
Obviously, I mean, I'm assuming you were very excited when you found out it was 100% for this weekend.
Definitely. You know, I had been talking all week about I'll take the 5 Tiger fans over 5,000 somebody else, but if I get the shot at the 5,000 Tiger fans, I'm for that. There's no question.
Coach, I think how cool is this for you guys also, considering that you guys didn't get a chance to do this last year because of the pandemic? Does that just make this moment even more exciting to be able to host a regional, and if you get past your super regional as well?
Yeah, there's no question. And, you know, honestly, I think that we were fortunate to get this national seed, but we were just fortunate to play on another week. I really feel that way. That it was so heartbreaking last year that we're just happy to be playing softball this time of year. We're happy to be in this final group. I know there's some great teams that didn't get to play on this week. So we're just happy to be playing and happy to have another weekend here at Tiger Park.
Coach Shelby talked about how when she was in the super regional against Minnesota, she kind of let the moment be too big. How do you keep these younger girls kind of focused and sharp and not making it more than what it is?
I think it's tough, you know, but I think we just have to keep reminding them it's just another game. Plate's not any further. The bases aren't any, you know, any closer. I mean, it's the same game they've been playing for their whole lives, and just try to keep them loose, keep them fun. I talked yesterday in the dugout just at the fact that they really have already won. They've done so many great things this year that they have won in so many other ways. And of course, we want to go to the College World Series, and we all agreed to that. We understand that. But I think, you know, they can't put their whole identity on winning and losing this weekend. One, you can't function that way. And 2, it's not real. That's not true. This doesn't make or break who they are as people or softball players. So I think if we can go at it with that attitude, we'll end up in a good spot.
And what are you expecting to see from McNeese? Obviously, y'all shut them out in game 1 of this season, but it's a totally different ballgame now.
Yeah, it was like 20 degrees that night too. So I think they're a very different team. They have different kids in the lineup, even different people have emerged probably for both teams the same way. It's hard to think of your own team, you know, through that process because you're so close to it. But just being removed from them, I mean, their lineup's different, their personnel looks different. So it'll be a completely new feel and a completely new game. And we know they're talented. We know they're capable of beating anybody out there. So we're gonna have to show up and play well.
Coach, you mentioned that McNeese opening night. I'll just for you, I have this tape measurement. I've had this on since opening night when you had this in your pocket opening night. But the reason I bring that up is, how has your team grown from that night to the present now? What's the biggest growth you've seen from your team in any particular area?
I think they have grown a lot. And I think every time they take the field here this weekend, they'll still be growing, which is the cool thing about it. I think they're learning every time they go out there, and just learning as much about how to play softball and having a higher IQ and making the right choices, but learning how to battle through adversity and how to be in tough spots and how to handle the big moments. I think that's what they're just continuing to learn. And we've seen huge growth in that. I mean, we've had our backs to the wall in virtually every SEC series of the entire year, and have still managed to come out, you know, and win 8 of the 10 series that we were in. And I think we won 2 first games. So these guys have had their backs to the wall and have been able to figure it out. So I would say that's the biggest spot where I think they have grown.
Obviously, with your region, you always get a tough regional because of your state. I mean, it's so much talent with Louisiana, then of course region with McNeese. I mean, do you wish the tournament was more national and you didn't see the same teams over and over, or does it really matter?
I do think it's fun, you know, watching George Washington walk in here today, and it's fun. Like, they're getting to see a completely different side of the country. They're getting to have a completely different postseason feel. So I do think there's something to that. That doesn't mean I want to leave Tiger Park. Don't get me wrong here. So I'm happy to stay home right here. But it is kind of nice to just get some new looks and some new faces. But I think that's out of our control. We respect everybody in our state. We know it's going to be tough this weekend. We know that we're always going to have to go through these guys if we want to play on. And I'm sure they feel the same way about us.
Coach, how do you adjust, I guess, your coaching style in when it's kind of real postseason now? Where do you kind of make changes? Is it kind of a smaller lineup that you're going with, relying on less girls pitching staff wise? How do you kind of adjust now that it's really the postseason? It's really, you got to win every game.
Yeah, hopefully we don't. Hopefully we've been doing it all year, and hopefully we stick with the plan that we've done all year. We did get a smaller roster size than we've had all year, but I don't think it will change. We may manage some things different. Pinch runners, defensive specialists might get managed a little bit differently because of the roster size. And I do think it is it's really unfair in a COVID year that we're stuck with 20 people on a team where we have 28 players and plus 5 due to COVID. So baseball gets 28, I believe, and we get 20. So I am concerned about that. And I hope that that's an adjustment we can make moving forward, because we have functioned using, I used 17 players against South Carolina in the SEC tournament. So I think it is something that needs to be adjusted in our sport moving forward.
Why is it at that number? Do you know? And what kind of challenges does that kind of entail for you guys? How did you choose who you decide to actually have on the active roster at 20?
Just based on playing time, ultimately based on, the right personnel for who could help us. So we do get to have 25 in the dugout, but there will be some not dressed. That isn't final until this evening. But it's tough. It's heartbreaking for girls that have been dressing and traveling with us for the entire year. We've had 25. The SEC is normally at 20 and they bumped it to 25 due to the COVID year. The NCAA did not follow and make any adjustments though.
Good.
I think William.
Oh, well,
ahead.
I had a question, Beth. Just to kind of follow up on what you said earlier, how do you think fighting back in all these SEC series, like you said, it seemed like you often will lose the first game and then come back to win a series this year. How do you think that can benefit you or play to your advantage, or that's something you can draw on in postseason play?
Yeah, without question. I think hope is such a big factor. It is so important. And I think once you've done that, you give yourself hope that you can, right? So our team has proven that they can come back in these situations, that they can do this. Like, no matter the situation they're put in, how much we go down, whatever it is, like, we're going to have hope that we can fight back. I think they have shown that. They've shown they have guts. They've shown they can fight. Those are the things that are important this time of year, because everybody's talented. Everybody earned the right to be here. They all beat somebody to be here. So you're going to have to fight for it.
You won your opener against Auburn and you beat South Carolina in the first tournament, SEC tournament. So you have shown, ability to win that first game. I mean, is there an emphasis on trying to, put your best foot forward and stay in the winners bracket as long as you can, obviously?
Well, every game from here on out for the rest of the season will be our best foot forward. We'll be going with our best 9, 10 every game here on out. If it takes one pitcher the whole way, it's one pitcher, which I don't think that's who we are, and that's never what we've been. But if somebody gets hot, we're going to go with it. We have a couple of hitters on the bench that have done some really nice things lately that they've shown to be hot, and they're going to get a chance. Allie Newland's like 3 for 3 in her last 3 pinch hit at bats. So she's going to get a shot here. So it's the best that we have that we're throwing at them every game. Every opportunity we get, they're going to see the best we've got. I think everyone in this tournament this weekend deserves that. They're all talented. They're all good. We all know the McNeese name. We all know the ULL name. Maybe you don't know George Washington's name, but they've had an incredible season. And they really swing the bats well. Have some really talented players too.
Has it always been a thought, like philosophically, that you're going to probably, usually you see better pitching, lower scoring games, so less room for error, that you've got to be tight on defense and make plays when you got a chance, runners in scoring position, get them home.
I do think that our defense has to keep us in games. They just have to give us a chance. I think our defense has to play good defense. We can't give out free passes, both on the mound and defensively. I think they've got to kind of be our fallback. Like, that's what our go-to, like, that's our consistent spot. And then they give us a chance to pitch out of situations and to score some runs.
In all your years involved in this, do you see the talent just growing more? I mean, Jenna Cohn is one of the best hitters in the country with GW. McNeese has tremendous talent there. And you've been a part of that, in the past where you were the head coach at FIU and assistant at Houston. How do you compare the growth of the game and the talent level? To your point, GW is as good as anybody here. They're a big threat here as well as McNeese.
Yeah, they are. And I think, locally, like I said, their name might not be as known, but in their area, they're a big deal. I mean, you can watch them play in their conference tournament. You could just see the other team's responses. They're the ones they're trying to get, they're the ones with the target on their back. So I think that there's a lot more parity in the game. I think there's great players everywhere. I think this year too, with expanded rosters and people having more depth, it's kind of like super year for softball, super softball year, So I think everybody has someone else to go to. They're deeper. So it's going to be fun. This whole postseason is going to be a lot of great softball games. If I wasn't coaching, I would surely be a fan watching these girls compete because these women are incredible and deserve attention from all over the country.
What do you tell your team, especially the players that haven't been through this? There are 18 to 22-year-olds, a lot of talk of obviously the postseason, the spotlight. How do you keep them even keel and saying, hey, this is just another game?
Yeah, it's something we've honestly tried to address every day in some different way, shape, or form. We had Brian Kane get on and talk to him, our mental coach this week too. Like we've tried to address this every day as much as we can, just playing the same game that you've always played. You've been in tough spots, just trying to remind them of all the reasons why they should be confident. Trying to get them to laugh and smile. That always keeps people loose. I think we're playing better when we're that kind of team. We always call ourselves can't beat crazy. I think we're better when we are that team that is loud and crazy. That's who we are at LSU. That's kind of our MO. It always has been. So I think we're better when we're loose and we're fun. So we just try to keep them enjoying it. And we talked today, we're going to be the best team in a lot of ways. We're going to be the best hacky sackers before the game even. We're going to be, we're going to just try to keep it how we always keep it, enjoy it, have fun, just play our best. And whatever happens at the end of it, if we play hard, we'll sleep well.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you, guys.
I'm not on mute.
Okay, whenever y'all are ready with Aliayah.
Aliayah, obviously this is an exciting weekend for you guys, but does it make it even more exciting knowing that, just last year around this time, you didn't know if you'd ever play softball again. You're here back again with a chance to play in a regional and hopefully a super regional as well.
Yes, it's even that more exciting knowing that last year I wasn't able to do this. I kind of forget that we even had like a season last year because it feels so long ago. So the fact that we're able to make it to a postseason right now and half the girls on this team haven't done that yet, which is crazy. It's really exciting. It's really exciting.
I guess I'll ask another question. Just we talked just how do you help the girls that haven't played in a game like this before? You're obviously one of the veterans. How do you keep it to where they don't think that this moment and this stage is too big? Does it help being at home also?
Yeah, I think being at home will definitely help with that. Especially having, fans with your colors on, maybe hopefully not screaming at you will make it a little bit less of a pressure situation, but I just try and tell them it's a game. It's still just a game like we've played all throughout the season, our 50, however many games, it's the same thing. Making it too big it'll just crutch us. So just making sure that they all know that this is just another game and we have to play just like LSU has played all season and play LSU softball, and that'll get us to the next game.
Aliayah, Coach mentioned that y'all say can't beat crazy. What does that mean to you?
That just means that we're like unstoppable when we're our crazy selves. So when we're like passive and we're not, being LSU, we're just kind of like worried about the next pitch. We're worried about so much in a game and we're not having fun. That's not LSU. Like we're LSU when we're crazy, when we have things on our head, when we're calling Judy, like we're doing crazy stuff. like if the camera doesn't pan to the dugout and we're like, we don't look crazy, that's a problem. So can't be crazy just means really just LSU softball and being loud, being fun, pulling for each other at all times, and just having fun.
Aliayah, can you just talk about the challenge, at least for Friday, that you will face? When they cover, they tarp the infield. They don't tarp the outfield. And what's going to be like to play in those conditions, at least for Friday? You're someone that gets great jumps, and those things. It could be a little bit different for you tomorrow.
Yeah, playing it on wet grass isn't always the funnest, but we have been prepared for it. We live in Louisiana. It rains, and we have practiced in the rain. We've practiced on wet grass before. So before we go out there, we make sure to remind everybody, like, the ball's wet, to bury it. We say bury the ball, which means like make sure that when you throw, you're not just kind of letting it go because it's going to really let go because it's wet. So make sure to give the infielders a chance, at least like throw it in the dirt if you need to. And just to check your surroundings, make sure that you know what's going on. So it's one of those things that we can't control, so we just try and control the controllables and play the best that we can.
Anything else for Leah?
Aliayah, you guys are playing McNeese, obviously a team that you started off the year with. How have you seen this team grow over that time? You guys obviously had a ridiculous schedule this year. What kind of growth have you seen out of this team, and how much do you think that, I guess, that back against the wall, kind of working hard, going against a crazy schedule is going to help you guys heading into games that really, really matter?
I think playing teams, like we have faced the best of the best hitters. We have faced the best of the best pitchers. We have faced the best of the best teams, period. So like, we shouldn't be surprised, when we see it in postseason. It's something that we've seen before. So having that experience is definitely going to help, especially our younger players. They know what to expect now, that we've played them. So hopefully that'll make the game seem a little bit more easier, or just not as big, because we have played in big games before.
Lee, I was looking at the roster, and I think there's 4 of you that were on the 2017 team that went to the World Series the last time you guys were there. Does that seem like yesterday? Does that seem like a long time ago? I mean, now that your career is, you're in your last year here. How's that feel?
It feels like a long time ago. I felt like when me talking about it, I like forget. It feels like a long time ago, but then at the same time, it feels like only a couple years ago in a way. Like, I'll talk about it with some of my younger teammates, and I'm like, "Oh, you weren't here, duh," like, But I think about it like it was just a couple years ago, which it kind of was. But so it would be great to be able to go this year, to have a fresh mind about it.
I see AJ is still in the stands, still watching you very intently. After all these years, what's that relationship still like? Do you talk after the game? Does she give you suggestions? Is it a competitive thing? What is it?
Well, she's like my best friend and my sister, so she's gonna be there for me, and if I have questions, she's gonna answer them, of course. She's always there for me, and she has been there for me for the past 5 years, and she gives the best advice when I need it. Sometimes I don't always go to her, I'll go to a coach, but I love having a sister that knows the game, knows me and how I react to things, and she gives great advice and is always there for me.
I think you made that recent comment, 9 years of Andrews in the outfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you and your family?
It means a lot, and it's like, it's gonna be really weird to feel like we're not there. It's been a part of us for so long, and it's been before AJ was there. Like, it's been when she committed there, which is like her junior year of high school or something. So like years before with Coach G, like that's how much we've known LSU and how much we've known LSU softball. So it's gonna be weird not having one of us out there, not having one of us in the program. But I think we've done our time, and it's been a good time. So
Aliayah, real quick, I don't know if we've talked to you since it happened, but you obviously got drafted. What was that kind of like, that process like for you, and how excited are you to have gotten drafted, and how cool is that, especially where you got picked as well?
That was really cool. Still probably one of the coolest moments I have ever experienced. I just, like with softball right now, it's kind of up in the air with the pro league. We didn't know what was going on or if they were going to be able to have it, things like that. So to be able to get drafted, especially since I didn't even know I was like up for it until 2 days before. So like to know that people were talking about it and picked me as one of the 12 seniors meant a lot. And it was so cool to have my teammates, my coaches, and everybody with me. And it was a really cool moment.
Okay, thanks, Aliayah.